Are you intimidated to set up shadowing? It's not uncommon, but it's actually quite easy to do. And that's what we're talking about today on the PA Startup Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about setting up shadowing hours. That is something that's almost intimidating for people to do because you have to call an office or you have to find someone, and it's difficult to do. But I think you'd be surprised how easy it actually is. And I'm going to give you a couple tips to help you get started. First and foremost, obviously, if you have any family members or family friends, let's say your parents' friends or something like that, who are nurses or doctors or PAs or NPs, by all means, ask them. Say, hey, I'm looking to shadow a PA. Can I shadow someone that you know? Do you know anyone that I could shadow? Also, ask your friends. I mean, if you have other people that are interested in pursuing med school, PA school, NP, something like that, maybe they've shadowed. And you could say, hey, who did you shadow? And can I have their number? It is not, again, uncommon for me to have a student, and then at the end of that or a week later, they say, hey, my friend wants to shadow. Can they come shadow him? Of course, totally. Yep, we can get them set up. So those are all very, easy personal relationships. As a matter of fact, I just had a guy the other day come shadow. Andy, what's up? He was lab partners with my daughter, and she's not pursuing a PA career, but they were in chemistry lab and they were just sitting around talking, and he said something about, he wants to go to PA school, and she's like, oh, my dad's a PA. And he was like, really? My kids are now getting to the age where they're upper high school, they're college age, and they're thinking about, their professional lives. And so I know a lot of people whose kids are graduating or they want to go to nursing school or PA school or something. And I'm always like, hey, let them come to work with me. I'm happy to show them around. I promise you, you will not be the first person that is asked that question. And she said, yeah, you should shadow him sometime. And he's like, are you sure? Like, is it weird? And then when he came, he said, like, I didn't know if she was serious. And like, is it okay if I text you? Like, I was like, Andy, I know. Yeah, everybody needs to shadow. I was in your shoes. We get it. It's not a big deal. But had you not talked about it, or had he not talked about it, he wouldn't know that his lab partner's dad was a PA that he could shadow. So, and then once I had him, I said, hey, if you're interested in ER, I know some ER people. If you like trauma or ortho or neuro or cardiology or endocrinology or whatever, I've been around, so I know some people. I could send a text and I could get you in with whatever field you're kind of looking at. The medical community is surprisingly small, even in bigger cities or bigger institutions. Once you've been out for a couple of years, you've overlapped with quite a few people. So not a weird thing at all. Second, if you don't know anybody, let's say you're no one that you know is medical, you don't know anyone medical, call your family doctor. Say, hey, whoever you see, a PA, NP, physician, call your doctor's office and say, hey, I'm a patient of Dr. So-and-so or PA so-and-so. I would like to go to PA school, but I need some shadowing hours. Do you have any PAs there that I could shadow? It's your office, right? Like, you're a patient there. If you are uncomfortable or you don't want to, see someone that you know or something like that, ask if they could refer you to someone, or could you put me in touch with somebody? Lastly, I would say, well, okay, two more. One would be to call a local PA school and say, I'm interested in applying to PA school, but I need to shadow some PAs. Do you have anyone who's on your staff or that is a guest lecturer, or that you just have a list of, a graduate list or something like that you could put me in touch with? The worst thing they're going to say is no. And I promise you also, if they tell you no, or if maybe your shadowing experience doesn't go well, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, I don't sit around and I think, I had that one student that was a super big problem. Not like, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. I realize that's why you're shadowing. So it's not to say that everybody has to have the most amazing time ever, but put your best foot forward. But don't panic if you call me, okay, not me, you call somebody and they're like, absolutely not. They're not going to remember who you are. It's not going to affect your prospects for a job in the future. And don't take it personally. Has nothing to do with you. They don't know you. It's just they can't take students right then, or they can't take shadowing people, because it does take a little bit of time to interrupt your flow and explain kind of what's going on and stuff like that. So finally, I'll leave you with this. This is kind of important, okay? When you set up shadowing, there's 3 questions that you need to ask. I had to write them down. What should I wear? How long can I stay? And is there anything I can do to prepare? Okay. So what should I wear is important because there's this pressure to show up in like business casual clothes. Now, if you're in a clinic setting, that's important. You will need that. If you're coming to shadow with me, however, we have to wear hospital issued scrubs. And so you can come in looking homeless if you want, because you were going to put on scrubs and a hat as soon as you get there. So what should I wear is important. How long can I stay? Now, that's specific, because that sends a very different message than when can I leave or how long do I need to stay? Because it's almost as if there's some criteria that we have to follow, that if you don't shadow us for 6 hours, it doesn't count. Any shadowing counts, okay? If you wanted to shadow for 2 hours and you were like, look, I'm really sorry, but I have to get to, a class or a test or something like that, I get it. You're a student, totally fine. But if you're like, do I have to stay all day? That sends a very different message to me about your interest level. And I'm going to be a little nervous, honestly, about the shadowing experience. And then anything I can do to prepare. Now, this is kind of a weird question because you don't have a frame of reference for exactly what you're going to see. If you come shadow cardiac surgery with me, I'm not going to say read about coronary artery bypass grafting because it's going to be very foreign. You're not familiar with it yet. Or even if I said, study anatomy, that's not easy to do. If you've taken anatomy, say I've taken anatomy, is there anything I can do to prepare? Or if you've been around surgery, let's say you're a surgical tech that's going to PA school. Say I used to be a tech. Is there anything I can do to prepare? That would be helpful. But really, even if there's nothing, you have no history and there's really no way for you to prepare, still ask, because that tells me that you're engaged. And so if I have never met you before and you say, what do I need to wear? How long can I stay? And what can I do to prepare? I'd be like, wow, this person is amped and serious. And that's good. That way, when you show up, I have a positive impression of who you are. And that makes me want to help you more. I mean, that sounds so rude, but it's totally true. If you're like, do I have to stay all day? And you show up wearing, jeans and a t-shirt, but we're in the clinic that day. That's things I have to manage throughout the day. And that just stresses me out a little bit. So, but if you are like kind of on top of it, now don't be overbearing. Don't be texting every day and be like, I read this and I read this and I watch YouTube videos. Don't do that. But just say, hey, what can I do to prepare? And they'll probably say nothing, just be on time, and do please be on time. But you've given the option. Okay. Last thing I'll leave you with, and then I'll be done, is when you set up shadowing, you need to be available. Okay. I wish I was joking when I said that people oftentimes will say, hey, I'd like to shadow you because I'm going to PA school and I need more hours. I'm available Tuesday after 3:30 and on Saturdays. Our day starts at 7 a.m. And that's when a lot of the work gets done. And then clinic is usually either all day or it's in the afternoon up until 3 or 4. I can't really have you show up at 3:30 expecting to get a great shadowing experience because the day can definitely be going on and we can be starting surgery at 3:30, but a lot of the day's already happened. So if you're going to set up shadowing, please make yourself available. So don't set it up during finals week. Don't set it up during a very busy time in school or work or something like that. And don't be very restrictive. Your college professors should be sympathetic to the fact that you're applying to PA school. I'm going to have to miss class on a non-test day so that I can get my shadowing hours. And if worse comes to worse, save it for summer or spring break or something like that. On Saturday, I want to get out of there as fast as possible. So I want to get rounds done, cases done, consults seen, and I want to get home because it's the weekend. I work Monday through Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, then Monday through Friday. It's a 12-day stretch. And the last thing that I really need is to slow down to explain a lot of things. Now, I want you to have a good shadowing experience. Don't be offended by that. But it's just not very respectful of the PA's time because they have probably, they have a busy job. They've got possibly a family. They've got hobbies they want to do. They need to relax. So you have to make yourself available. So please pick a time that says I'm available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, anytime you're available. And if they say, okay, 7:00, perfect. Very low barrier of entry, everything's good. But if you're very restrictive on the times, it's going to be hard to set that up. And it's going to be hard to get them to work with you because of the limited schedule. So hope that all makes sense. Leave me a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you're listening to the audio of this, you can catch it on YouTube. And if you're watching the YouTube and you need to catch it, just the audio, you can catch it on your podcast app. As always, head over to pastartup.co for resources and extra information on your PA school journey. All right. Thanks so much. Have a good day.